Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I've decided to make an appearance on camera just for the introduction. Currently, I'm still pretty sick, as you've seen in my community post. I'm not too bad though, I'm getting there, but this review has taken me a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of patience and stuff. And just a fair warning to everyone, this review does go on for quite a long time, so be prepared for its runtime. It goes for a very long time. You can skip to wherever you need to be. You don't have to watch the whole thing in one sitting, that's absolutely fine. But I just wanted to make sure that I am as in-depth as I can with this video, and hopefully I've achieved that, and if I've missed anything, please let me know. But I have to give a massive, massive thank you to OnePlus for sending me the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G out for review. I really, really do appreciate it, and I'm just honestly really appreciative that they sent this out to me. And is trusting me with reviewing such a high-end flagship product. I now have realized that during the making of this video, I'm not meant to be reviewing flagship devices, but I've tried my best nonetheless to do the best review that I can, and hopefully this covers everything. But just, yeah, thank you so much to OnePlus for doing this. I really do appreciate it. They're not paying me in any way, shape or form. They've just sent this out to me for review, and I'm reviewing it, and that is exactly what I'm doing. Now, I'd also just like to give a special shout out to this person right here, Epic Viper 757. Thank you so much for your generous donations while I was in the middle of doing a live stream while editing this video. You've done a number of donations, so I thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. I don't ask anyone for anything in return on this channel. I did turn Super Chat on, and just thank you. So your name's here, you're in a video. Thank you so much for that. So for Epic Viper and for OnePlus, show them a lot of love for just all being awesome, and I just really, really do appreciate it. But anyways, enough of the pre-intro, let's really get into this video. Also, Ripley and I just want to thank you all for joining me along this journey as well. I could just sit here all day like this. This is fine. You happy there? Yeah, you happy there? Okay. Now, due to my videos being very in-depth, there are timestamps that are listed for this video in the description as well as the pinned comment, and they should be also on the video itself. Due to this video being a premiere, obviously you can't skip to wherever you want to right now, but after this video premieres and is available as normal, you can use the timestamps to jump through to wherever you need to be. I don't expect people to sit through this very, very long review, as there's portions of this video that take up quite a lot of time. I don't expect everyone to sit there for the whole duration. If you want to skip to a certain part just to find out something about this device that you really, really want to find out, then that's absolutely fine. There's no problems with that whatsoever. If you are interested in this item, there is a link down in the description below. It's not an affiliate link, so I'll not earn anything if you go there and purchase it. It's just down there for your convenience. I'm also not being paid by OnePlus for this review. I honestly never thought that I'd be looking at a flagship on this channel, so I'm very appreciative of being given this opportunity to do this review. So let's start getting into the details of the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G. Currently at the moment, the standard package, which is the 8GB RAM plus 128GB version, sits at around $1,050 Australian, which I'll display in all different currencies for you all. Feel free to pause if you need to. Then you can get the 12GB RAM plus 256GB storage version, which is the absolute maxed out version, and that will set you back $1,245 Australian. I'll also display the currency conversion chart for you here also. Feel free to pause and have a look at this if you need to. OnePlus has been kind enough to send me the absolute maxed out version, which is the 12GB RAM plus 256GB storage one, in just the standard package. There's no other differences between the models, just different RAM and storage, but you can customize your choice of what you receive with the unit. For example, you can add one of their cases, or some Bud Z, which I reviewed in the OnePlus Nord N10 video, which you can watch just up here if you'd like to. It should come up here somewhere. If you want to click it, feel free. It's also going to be very interesting from testing a budget OnePlus phone to now testing a flagship OnePlus phone. There's going to be a big jump, so we'll see how we go. Now currently there's 193 reviews on AliExpress, most of them being fairly positive, and from a quick Google search, people seem to be pretty happy with this device at the moment. But just keep in mind that this is a flagship, and with flagships you should be getting the best of the best
for the money that you pay. So now I want to get into the specifications for this phone. Since this is a flagship, we have flagship components in this, so there's a lot going on in this phone. So here we go. So the model is the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G. This is just the standard package, which I've already mentioned. The back and front of the phone are both made of glass and are protected by Gorilla Glass 5, and the frame is also aluminium. It's also IP68 dust and water resistant, which is good to have. The dimensions of this device are displayed on screen, and the weight of this is 198 grams, so about right for a flagship. The processor in this is the flagship Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 or 888 or 888, however you want to go about it, using the X65G chipset based on a 5nm manufacturing process. RAM configuration is either the 8GB standard or 12GB as an optional version, as briefed over earlier. Default storage is 128GB, or once again you can go to 256GB. Unfortunately, there is no micro SD card slot on this device, which may be a deal breaker for some, but this is the trend for flagships nowadays. The budget devices still rock a headphone jack and a micro SD card slot, so keep that in mind. The display is a 6.7-inch 1440p 120Hz fluid AMOLED panel, with the aspect ratio being 20.1:9, and it also has 10-bit color depth LTPO. This is an LTPO display, meaning that the refresh rate can change variably depending on what the phone is doing. So I guess I'll see during the review if I can spot any differences or not, but otherwise the main factor is that it's a 120Hz 6.7-inch AMOLED display. We have the quad camera setup co-developed by Hasselblad. We will talk more about Hasselblad soon, but our main sensor is the 48 megapixel one, which does have OIS. The next camera is an 8 megapixel telephoto one with OIS included as well. Then we have our 50 megapixel ultra wide camera, and finally a 2 megapixel monochrome sensor. Alongside a dual LED flash, this camera setup can film in several different resolutions, including 8K at 30 FPS, which will be definitely interesting to try out, and I'll display all the other resolutions that you can film in just here as well. The front camera is just a 16 megapixel one and can film in 1080p at both 30 FPS and 60 FPS. The battery is a 4500 mAh dual battery design, which means that the bundled 65-watt fast charger can charge this to 100% in 29 minutes or so. We will be testing this during the review. It also supports fast wireless charging at 50 watts. The OS is Oxygen OS, which is built on Android 11. Like the OnePlus Nord N10 that I reviewed, this is basically using stock Android. OnePlus has added a few things here and there to make it their own, but I never had any problems with it on the N10. In fact, I kind of like the added features. Hopefully this does get the Android 12 update in the future, but I don't expect it to be anytime soon since Android 12 is kind of new on the block, so it might be a while before we see that on this device. Our connectivity options are listed here with our Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, NFC. We don't have an FM radio, unfortunately. Not a deal breaker though. We do have USB Type-C 3.1, which supports on the go as well, and there is also an underscreen optical fingerprint sensor. In the audio department, we have dual loudspeakers that are built into the OnePlus 9 Pro. We will be testing BFG division on these bad boys, but unfortunately, this device does not have a headphone jack. I guess that was kind of to be expected though. Now we come to the networks. This should support most major networks around the world, and here is the band list displayed on screen for you all here. Please make sure you check with your network providers to make sure your country supports these bands. As I've always said, I'd hate for you to purchase a device, then you get it in your country and it doesn't work due to incompatible bands, etc. So please make sure that the bands listed on screen do work in your country and that this phone will work for you, if you are interested in purchasing this device, of course. Now we'll also be testing to see if we get 5G on this phone later on during the review. Since this also has no micro SD card slot, we only have the options to install 2 nano SIM cards in a dual SIM configuration. I believe if you're using dual SIM configuration, one SIM will be at 5G and the other one will be at 4G, but I can't be too certain on this. I will edit any information in later during the video. This also features one thing I absolutely miss on phones, well, apart from iPhones, the mute switch or the alert slider. I used to have it on my iPhone 4 back in the day, and I kind of wish every phone had this. It's very, very handy to have, but the OnePlus 9 Pro has this, so I'm going to play around with it during the review. Now, I'd just like to clarify that with purchasing this phone, you do get a 1-year warranty from OnePlus. If anything happens with the device, there's 1 year to either return it back to OnePlus or try to get it repaired locally, and they will cover the cost. I have experienced OnePlus warranty in the past, and it can be a bit complicated, especially in Australia, but this phone hopefully shouldn't have any issues if you do purchase it. I just thought I'd mention it just in case anyone was wondering about it. So that is all of the specifications of the OnePlus 9 Pro. So we have a pretty good idea of what's inside of this. So let's head into the listing and take a look at the advertising for it. Now the word Hasselblad is thrown around this listing quite a lot. In case you didn't know who Hasselblad is, they provided their camera tech for the Apollo 11 moon landing back in 1969. They have partnered with OnePlus to make their camera technology much better, with color correction being the primary focus. Oh, pardon the pun. It will definitely be interesting to see the photos taken with this phone. Since I'm not a professional photographer, I'll try my best to take some good shots. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the listing and see what the advertising is like for the OnePlus 9 Pro. On the OnePlus Nord N10, they were having a bit of fun with that, so we'll see what they're doing this time around. The first shot here is the OnePlus 9 Pro, your best shot, co-developed with Hasselblad, just showing our quad camera setup just there. Next up, the Hasselblad camera for mobile, the 120Hz fluid display, premium design, and the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 with 5G. Hasselblad camera for mobile, co-developed with Hasselblad, the exclusive Hasselblad camera for mobile delivers multiple breakthroughs including natural color calibration. The ultra flagship camera blends the technological excellence of OnePlus and the legacy of Hasselblad, with the OnePlus 9 Pro taking your best shot is now effortless. I don't know how many times I'm going to be saying Hasselblad during this review, but feel free to count. Natural color calibration with Hasselblad, developed with Hasselblad and their visionary ambassadors, OnePlus brings industry-leading color performance to smartphones, created for the most demanding photographers, experience true-to-life color and incredible natural skin tones for unparalleled color reproduction. Once again, Hasselblad camera for mobile. The advanced primary camera integrates class-leading technology with our most innovative camera features. Designed for beginners to the most demanding professionals, experience intuitive and precise control over every shot. Unlock your imagination and create extraordinary scenes. And as you can see with these photos, they do say they were shot on the OnePlus Cross Hasselblad, with a guy sitting on some rocks just there, and someone having their hands in the air with some trees waving around, and then a woman with a pretty big hat on, and then we've got another woman staring into the distance, and then we've just got the side of a mountain with some other mountains in the background, and then other mountains in the background of that background. That makes sense. All incredible views. The OnePlus 9 Pro's 6.7-inch 3-fluid display 2.0 is the pinnacle of mobile displays with breakthrough LTPO technology, smart 120Hz, and exacting color accuracy. The display sets a new standard. See and feel the difference with true-to-life detail and ultra-smooth responsiveness. Bold new design. The OnePlus 9 Pro showcases the stunning design by OnePlus Vision. It's an irresistible harmony of creativity, exclusive materials, and premium unibody experience. 3 nature-inspired colorways evoke a sublime, dreamlike calmness. Evolved and enhanced, it dares to rewrite the rules. I mean, it does look pretty cool, I gotta admit. And with mine being the silver color, or as they call it, the morning mist color, it's gonna look fairly nice for what it is. We have the warp speed charging. Warp Charge 65T delivers next generation charging, bringing a day's power in 15 minutes. Warp Charge 50 Wireless, our fastest ever wireless charging, delivers even more convenience. And with versatile universal charging of your favorite devices, staying in charge is effortless. And as we know, this is the Snapdragon 888 processor. At least it's not an MT6580, which is a considerable nice change for once. Deliver incredible refresh rates and ultra low latency, optimized for performance, experience ultra smooth gameplay with OnePlus, gamers never settle. We will be testing a couple of games on this obviously, co-created with our incredible community. Oxygen OS 11 is our uncompromising, never settle vision dialed up to 11. Android 11 dialed up to 11. I get what you're doing. In the box, there's the picture of it all just there, and that's pretty much all of the listing. So now, how is this $1,300 Australian flagship going to perform? Well, probably a lot better than all the other phones I've looked at, that's for sure. But going from budget-orientated devices to a flagship is definitely a big jump. Well, anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get on to unboxing the OnePlus Pro 5G and taking a look at this smartphone. Okay, it is finally time to unbox the OnePlus 9 Pro. It was sent by DHL and it took 5 days from China to Australia, so that's pretty good. Slicing along the top to get access into it. I can't even get access into it because my razor blade's dull. Here it is here, and it's a very, very long box. They have included a little travel adapter, however it's kind of one of the really, really cheap ones. And with the charger being a 65 watt one, I'd rather get something a little bit more quality than this. On this long box we have the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G, as well as it being co-developed with Hasselblad for the 10th or 11th time. Mine is 3,335 according to this. We have another Hasselblad logo just there as well. Nothing on the other side except the OnePlus logo. And on the back of the box it does say the RAM is 12GB and the storage is 256GB. The model is LE2120 and it was manufactured on the 13th of the 3rd, 2021. Open the box up. There it is. Never Settle is printed on the box just there. And lifting this out, we have the accessories within here. First, we have the USB Type-C to Type-C cable just there, as well as the 65 watt charger with all these specifications just there. As I mentioned, this is the US one, so that's why they include the travel adapter according to your country, wherever you order from. But this is definitely a very beefy charger, and at least they include one. We get our case that comes with it for free. We also have a bunch of manuals, and of course, OnePlus stickers, because you can never go wrong with some OnePlus stickers. I will probably stick one to the case actually. We also get this cool little transparent thing here, which tells you how to use the buttons. However, it's all in Chinese, so I don't understand any of it. And we also get the warranty cards as well as a quick start guide. The case they include for free is just a nice, soft silicone case with the OnePlus logo as well as Never Settle being printed on there. I mean, you can barely see it. There you go. You can see it now. I did ask for the unique Droid case that they do have available on their website. Unfortunately, they were out of stock. Would have been really cool to have that, but they did say that this case was included in the box, and this is more than enough. Taking the phone out of its little plastic wrap, here it is. Straight away, it feels premium. It does feel heavy. The back is glass, the front is glass, we have the aluminium frame, and we also have the pre-applied screen protector on the front of the device as well. The screen is also slightly curved on the edges, as well as the back glass being curved onto the edges as well. So you definitely want to put the case straight onto the phone when you receive it. Along the side, we have our volume rocker just there. On the bottom, our Type-C USB port, as well as our SIM tray, a hole for a microphone, and our speaker grill just there. On the other side, we have our power button, as well as the alert slider, which can sit in standard, mute, and silent. On top of the device, we just have our secondary microphone, as well as some antenna bands. And on the back of the phone, here we have the Hasselblad quad camera setup, with our dual-tone LED flash just there, as well as another microphone for noise cancellation. The back also has the OnePlus logo on it as well. The color that I chose is called Morning Mist, which is a very nice silver grey. Holding both my S20 FE 5G and the OnePlus 9 Pro in my hands, honestly, they feel both the same. The only thing I can tell about the OnePlus 9 Pro is the glass on the back, as opposed to the plastic back on the S20 5G, but they feel basically the same weight. They feel nice in the hand, but obviously when you put the case on, you're going to add a bit of thickness to it, but it's not too bad. Comparing the two sort of like that, they're about the same sort of size, really. OnePlus 9 is a bit bigger, and I think it might be a little bit thicker, but that's about it. The phone does rock a bit on a flat surface due to the pretty big camera bump, which if we just have a look there, you can see it does stick out quite a little bit, but it is certainly not the biggest camera bump that I have ever seen. Popping the SIM tray out, we do have a red rubber ring that goes around the SIM tray, and this also supports dual nano SIMs. For now, I'm just going to put a Telstra SIM into this and see how we go. Here's the phone with the case on, and to me the case is grey with a bit of blue, much like the phone itself, so like that morning mist colour. So it's quite nice. So anyways, powering on the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G. There we go. So there we go, just to get an idea of the bezel sizes, there's the chin just there, which is basically non-existent, as well as the hole punch camera just at the top left, and our earpiece grill just goes along the top, just like so. But the bezel size is very, very minimal, so the screen real estate on here is extremely good. So I'll go ahead and set this up, agree to the terms and conditions. I will connect to Wi-Fi now, just to see if we get an update. I'll skip Gmail just for now. The Code Creation Labs, I will skip this. I'll skip the Red Cable Club as well. I'll set a screen lock while I'm here. We may as well set up the fingerprint while we're here. Even with the small real estate that I have to work with on my thumb here, it is still managing to pick it up. I think we'll leave it as the default font. I will show the navigation gestures later on, but I will choose back home and recents for now. And here we go. To you too. Okay, so I've now jumped a month in time. There has been a lot that has went on during the last month, mainly with me being sick, which put me out of action for a couple of weeks, and also I filmed 2 hours of footage of this, and I didn't have my microphone on. So I kind of know what's going on with this device, but I'll try be extremely thorough with this for this review, as I'm always in depth. But the SIM card that I've put in here is the same Telstra one that I used on the OnePlus Nord N10, and I got a 5G signal with that. With this, I'm not getting a 5G signal. However, when I did take some photos with the out-of-the-box camera software in the city, I did get a 5G signal then. As I've mentioned before, a lot of devices that I have that are 5G just don't get 5G around here. The OnePlus Nord N10 was the first one to actually get 5G right here. So hopefully soon I'll start to get to see 5G on a lot more devices, but my own S20 FE 5G doesn't pick up 5G where I currently am, so that's a bit of a letdown. But we've got 4G, but I have done a call quality test using this, so I'm going to splice that in for you all here, so have a listen and see what you think of this.
Okay, testing the earpiece quality on the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G. This is what it sounds like. Obviously, it's defaulting back to 3G when making calls, and since I can't get 5G in my area with any SIM cards that I use at the moment, it's kind of a bit unfortunate, but this is what it sounds like. And the microphone quality on the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G sounds a little something like this. It should sound pretty good from the testing that I've done previously. It should sound fairly good, and this is pretty much what it sounds like. I'm not sure what else to say at this point in time. If it sounds good, it sounds good. If it sounds bad, it sounds bad, but I'm pretty sure it should be sounding fairly good.
So that doesn't sound bad for the most part, but because I was recording the call quality with my Blue Yeti, it picks up basically everything, so any bit of interference it'll pick up. But I can tell you that making phone calls with this and testing it with other phones and stuff, very, very clear, very nice. Microphone is very nice and loud, so there's no issues with that there. Now, I did speak about the display during the start of the video and also when I was setting it up, but as you can see, we've got our 120Hz kicking in just there. You might not be able to see it on camera, but I can definitely tell you that that's definitely 120Hz for sure. It's very nice, very smooth, and as I've said, because I've played around with this device, I can tell you that the experience of this phone is very, very nice and smooth. However, with the out-of-the-box software that it does come with, it was a little bit iffy, and I did take photos with the out-of-the-box camera software. Later on, I got 2 updates for this phone, and then I redid the camera test, and I can tell you that it's made a huge difference. Those 2 updates that I did get with this phone have improved a lot of things, but I will speak about this more during the camera test. So our alert slider that we have on the side here, there we go, ring, vibrate, and silent. A much appreciated feature of OnePlus devices. I've always loved this. I don't know what phone they introduced it on actually, but as I said, I used an iPhone 4 that had this switch and I was always using it, and I really, really do miss this. And I do hope other phones in the future do have this little alert slider because it's just so handy. Instead of dragging down and all that sort of thing, you can just click it in your pocket and that's it, all done. But swiping down, we do get our shortcuts just here with Wi-Fi, mobile data, Bluetooth, torch. Oh, let's test the torch. Yep, that's pretty good. It's not the brightest torch I've seen on a device, that's for sure, but it will definitely do the job. Auto rotate, battery saver, aeroplane mode, vision comfort, which will tune the display to being warm. There you go, see? That was quite nice. And then you just turn it off and... ooh. Very, very, very nice. Location, switch data card, which is for the SIM cards, do not disturb mode, work-life balance. Oh, okay, so you can skip notifications. Okay, that makes sense, yep. NFC, nearby share, reading mode, dark mode, which obviously we'll change it into dark mode, but I'll leave it in the normal mode for now. Hotspot, reverse charge, we can try that if we want to. We also have Zen mode and screen recorder. I'll just actually try the reverse charging, hang on. So with my S25G just here, if I was to go like this, it should start charging. Yep, there we go. Nice. Technology, man, it's amazing. Also, this is what Zen mode does. It's basically built-in ASMR, which is kind of nice. So you just put your phone down, enjoy life, and you can listen to the sounds of water and oceans and all that sort of thing. Really, really nice to have on this, honestly. But before you start, Zen mode can't be cancelled once started. Incoming notifications will be temporarily muted. You may still receive phone calls, and all apps will be temporarily locked except for the camera. Because basically it's like meditation, I suppose. You're not going to be disturbed while having this, but I'll just confirm it, and oh, I'll just cancel it. That's okay. But I think you get the idea of Zen mode. So since we are running pretty much stock Android on this device, we do have a pretty minimal list of applications on here. OnePlus has also added their own applications here and there. I've also installed my own applications for later on during testing. So I've got Arc Survival Evolved installed, Google Assistant, Calculator, Calendar, Camera, Chrome, Clock, Cloud Service, OnePlus Community, Contacts, DeviceInfoHW, Google Drive, Duo, we have the File Manager, and then we have Google Files, Gallery, Games, Geekbench 5, Genshin Impact. I finally put it on here. We're going to test it. I don't know what the game's like, but we'll see what happens. Gmail, Google, Google One, Google Play Movies and TV, I think. We got San Andreas on here. Maps, Messages, Netflix, News, Notes, OnePlus Store, OnePlus Switch, Phone, Photos, Play Games, Play Store, Podcast, Recorder, Settings, Weather, YouTube, and YouTube Music. So at this point in time, I want to jump into settings and go through all of that, but I just want to mention something really randomly. The vibration motor in this is really, really nice. If you've used anything past an iPhone 6S with the Taptic engine, that's exactly what this feels like. It feels really nice. I'll hold up to the microphone to see if you can hear this. That click is from the system sounds, but the actual vibration motor, I don't know, it feels really, really cool. So hopefully during gaming, that actually does kick in. But I thought I'd mention it. It's pretty cool for what it is. Alright, here we go in settings. We have Wi-Fi network. Wi-Fi is off. I've switched that off for the time being. SIM and network. We can come in here to see that my Telstra SIM is active. 5G is on. But unfortunately, we're just not picking up that 5G signal. It's because of where I am, though. But even so, the OnePlus Nord N10 picked up 5G here, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. Dual channel network acceleration. It uses both Wi-Fi and mobile data to provide you a smoother internet experience. So you can have this on if you want to, or you can leave it off, completely up to you. Data usage, hotspot and tethering. You can use this as a mobile hotspot, as you can with basically every phone that's on the market at the moment. OnePlus roaming. So if you're allowed to travel, you can use this phone somewhere else, and you pay OnePlus to do roaming for you. instead of your carrier. We'll just say okay to that. We do have airplane mode, VPN, and a private DNS just there. Bluetooth and device connection. Bluetooth is currently on, and I did test Bluetooth, and it was fairly fast. I transferred some files to and from this, and there was no problems with that, but I'm not too sure if I need to test Bluetooth in any of these videos or not. If I do, let me know, but I'm not sure what I'm going to test it with, but yeah, feel free to let me know. We do have NFC just here, so I'll quickly check that. It should be somewhere here. Here, somewhere. Okay, so the NFC is located right there. We have cast, contactless payments, printing, Chromebook. Your phone is not linked to a Chromebook. I don't have a Chromebook, so I can't link it to a Chromebook. Sorry. Nearby share and Android Auto, so you can use apps on your car screen. My car doesn't have that, so I can't use that. In display, we have the adaptive brightness, comfort tone, sleep. We have the screen calibration, which is vivid, natural, and advanced. Also, okay, so you can come to advanced and change it to sRGB or display P3, which they did say in the advertising, but I'm going to just have it as vivid. I think vivid's quite nice. It looks very, very nice. Now the resolution is currently 2340 by 1080. You can put it to 3120 by 1440, and it switches just like that, and you still have the 120 Hz still going. But obviously having it at a higher resolution is going to drain battery life ever so slightly, but I am going to be talking about battery life very, very soon. The front camera display error, you can show it or you can hide it. That looks pretty ugly. I'm going to keep it to show the front camera because there's no bezels going on. It's really, really minimal and there's no point hiding that. So I think that's quite acceptable to leave it as it is. And we just have apps to display in full screen. So you can just come in here and choose which ones you want to be in full screen, and that's pretty much it. We have a display enhancement engine just listed here, which has HyperTouch, which that can dramatically reduce in-game imaging delays, improving touch response and frame rate stability in supported games. We're going to switch that on because we're going to be playing Ark Survival Evolved and whatever Genshin Impact is going to be. Vibrant Color Effect Pro, as you can see, it's going along and changing it because the enhancement engine dynamically optimizes video colors and contrast to make it more vivid. So when we test the Costa Rica video, we'll see this kick in, hopefully. So I'll turn that on. Motion graphics smoothing, it's laggy there and smooth over there. We're going to have that on. In this mode, the video frame rate will be raised, reducing motion blur of the graphics, making it clearer and smoother. We'll leave this on and see during the video test, browser test, and gaming test if this does kick in or not. An ultra high video resolution, I guess we'll just put that on as well. As you can see, it's not high res there and it's high res there. So we'll just leave that on. Vision comfort, you can turn that on. We've already seen that. It's very, very nice to have. Very similar to the OnePlus Nord N10, you can have the reading mode on, which makes everything either chromatic or mono. Like so. Very, very nice. But I'll switch that off. Dark mode, which we've been over. Ambient display, which has a whole heap of gestures just here. And what to display on the always on display is pretty much what it is. Like music info, fingerprint icon, display message. I'm actually going to have s'mores listed there. Horizon light. When you charge it, it does this too. So if we now have everything like that, lock it, should say s'mores somewhere. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Font size is default. Display size we'll leave as default. Status bar, I've changed it to have the battery percentage displaying. Always like that for every phone that I use. You can display the network speed if you want to as well. You can also come into the icon manager to manage what you see at the top of the screen here. So if you want more real estate, I guess, for example, if you don't want NFC to be shown, you can turn that off. It disappears like that. Auto rotate screen is on and our screensaver is just the clock, but we can change that if we want to analog or digital. Night mode, we'll just start it now like that. And, oh, you can just see it just there. There it is there. Next up, we have customization, which is the wallpapers and all that sort of thing. This was on the OnePlus Nord N10, and I went over this, but I'll go over it again. So the accent color, we can choose to have it as red if we want to, which is actually kind of nice. You know, OnePlus being red and stuff. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so there you go. We'll save that. System icons, we go round, square, teardrop, round, rectangle. Oh, I guess we'll leave it as round. That'll be fine. Icon pack, we can have it as oxygen or hydrogen, like back in the old school days. I'm going to leave it as oxygen though. Let's have a look at the wallpapers. Now, there is canvas ones on here. Canvas can extract the subject's outline from any photo displayed on the ambient display. Canvas is ideal for customization with your visuals. I got an idea. So I have Ripley just there. I'm going to see what happens. It says it works better with faces, but I just want to see what happens. Let's... Oh dear. That didn't work as expected. It does work better with human faces. No problems. But our default wallpapers are orange blob thing, blue blob thing, purple and blue blob thing, green sort of jewel looking thing there, mountain blue blob, swirly rounded circle blue red things, blue rounded circle circly things, purple circly things, black and blue swish, ooh, red and black swoosh. We have, I don't know what that is, pink and red donut ring, I guess. Andromeda space purple galaxy, I don't know, man, I'm just trying to think up names for this. An orange swirl. They actually look really cool, all of them. I'm going to leave it as, maybe, let's leave it as that, actually. Let's leave it as that. There we go. Look at how nice it looks, though. Just take that in. How nice the display is, though. It's just so weird going from like 480p devices to a 1440p device on the channel. It's just a huge jump. I'm just completely not used to this, but the display is definitely nice, I can tell you that. In sounds and vibration, we've got the volume adjustments just there. We have Dolby Atmos just here, which is on dynamic. We'll just leave it as dynamic for now, but you can adjust it. And if you do have earphones, you can also adjust that as well. Do not disturb, earphone mode. So obviously, once you connect up something like the Buds Z, I was going to test the Buds Z with this, but since I've already done it with the OnePlus Nord N10, there's no reason for me to go back over them. But if you do have them, you can come into here and customize it if need be. Live caption, we can automatically have captions appear in videos. You know what, I'm going to put it on because I'll play one of my YouTube videos and see what it comes up with. Because my accent is absolutely terrible, it'd be just funny to see what this pops up with. So I'll leave that on. Our phone ringtone is the OnePlus tune. And it vibrates as well along to that. Once again, like the Nord N10, you can have zzz zzz, zzz da, da da zzz, and da zzz da. Believe it is dynamic. Lastly, system sounds and touch vibration are both on. Now within buttons and gestures, we do have some options we can configure for the alert slider at the side of the phone. So like for example in silent, you can have it to where it will also mute media volume as well, vibration, nothing you can change in there, and ring, vibrate for calls. Navigation bar and gestures, once again, I'm just not a person that likes navigation gestures, but for people who are interested, I'll switch it on for you all, and there you go, that's what it will look like. Like, I get a rough idea of how it works, but sometimes it just goes a little bit over my head and I just really don't know what I'm doing half the time. It's probably really easy to learn, I'm just kind of lazy and like the old school layout like so. But you can customize the navigation bar, you can swap the buttons around, which I might do, because I'm used to Samsung having it on that side, and you can also long press and double tap these buttons to open shortcuts if you want to. We have quick gestures as well, like the 3-finger screenshot, so we can just do that and go like this, and did take a screenshot. I honestly thought that wouldn't work first time, but it did. And then we have these screen off gestures as well. Draw V to open front camera, I guess. So we can have the screen off and you just V and there you go. And then you can also double click the power button and hold the power button down to activate more shortcuts as well. So you do have a lot of customization there for the power button and the on-screen keys. If you want to assign them to different functions and stuff, makes life easier. Now I know that going through these settings is a bit monotonous and stuff like that, but I just like to go through all of these to show everyone what the settings are, what features are included on the device. I'll keep going because we've got the apps and notifications, and usually I like to scroll through the app list and just show you what installed apps are on here. But as I've said, because I've installed my own stuff on here, that's going to be included in here. I'm just going to scroll through here. If you see anything that may be a bit strange or a bit weird, feel free to let me know, but otherwise, there you go, this is all of it just here. As I said, I've installed apps, so you'll see them probably pop up somewhere along here. Somewhere. A lot of Qualcomm stuff. Cricket scores. Okay, no problems. Dolby Atmos, or Atmos. Is it Atmos or Atmos? Filled. Okay. Genshin Impact, there it is there. Gmail, Google, a lot of Googles. Keychain, maps, messages. There's a lot here. I mean, flagships obviously are going to have a lot of stuff on here, but yep. A lot of OnePlus stuff. More OnePlus stuff. Permissions. Punch hole cutout. Qualcomm voice assist. Sensor test tool. Shot on OnePlus. The watermark shot on OnePlus is 4.51 meg. Well, there you go. System UI pack, tags, tethering, weather, YouTube, Zen mode. There you go. If you've seen anything weird in the apps list, let me know, but I think it's all good for the most part. In notifications, we can change what pops up, when they pop up, where they pop up, and as you can see, you can hide the silent ones, snooze notifications, all that sort of stuff. Bubbles, at a glance, default notification sound. You got a lot of options here. You got a lot of stuff to change. Default apps are next. You can choose what default apps you have, like the browser, camera, etc. If you put a different music player on here, you can change it in here to a different one if you want to, instead of YouTube Music. Data usage control, I guess we'll just allow everything. Wireless emergency alerts, I guess we'll leave that as well. And special app access. Security and lock screen, we'll just have a look through. Our security status shows that the security update is the 1st of May 2021, which is all current and up to date, which is all good. The screen lock is PIN. We've got 3 fingerprints set up. I don't remember setting 3 up, but okay. We can also do face unlock, which I may as well do. It just takes a photo of your face and then pretty much you just point it at your face and it will unlock, but yep. What I seen on the N10. Actually, this one's different. It's actually mapping stuff on my face. It was drawing lines on my face. That's different from it just taking a photo. It was actually doing some magic there to make sure. Now I should be able to just do this. There we go. That was fast. Don't even have to do anything. There you go. Your personal security is all listed here. I don't think I need to go through this, so we'll keep moving on. In privacy, we do have ads just here as well, but you'll still see ads. So I'm not sure where the ads pop up though. I'm not sure if this is like Xiaomi where ads will just pop up sort of randomly. Hopefully you can just switch it off somewhere, but you do have the Google related services all just listed there as well. Within location, that's all good there. I have tested GPS. I did use the GPS to navigate while I was in the city and that worked no problems at all. And I was actually getting 5G within the city and it was fairly fast, no problems there. So GPS location wise, all good in that department. Battery, here we go. Battery. Now, we've done the reverse charging. We've got the bedtime mode using OnePlus wireless charger quietly. What? You can use a charger quietly? How is... Oh, okay, it slows it down. Okay, fair enough, that makes sense. Nearby charging stations, notify where there's a charging station nearby. They're a thing? Okay. So the battery test and the charging test. Now, I have already performed the charging test from 0% to 100% with the warp speed charger, as well as talking about the battery. But I will just say now, before I got updates, the battery life was terrible. When I got updates, the battery life was improved, but as I'll say in the next bit, when you're using camera and other intensive applications for the phone, the battery life's going to drain pretty fast. But here we go, I'll splice in the charging test right now. Alright, with the OnePlus 9 Pro being completely dead, I'm going to go ahead and plug the charger into it and see how long it takes to charge up completely to 100%. I've got my iPhone XS Max here to time it to see how long it will take. It was 30 minutes, was it? That was advertised? Not too sure. Hopefully within 30 minutes we get 100%. Now it might take a little bit of time to get to 1%, so when I plug this in, I'm going to hit start, we'll just leave it and see how it goes. Alright, let's see how we go. Now I've had to use one of these travel adapters to get the charger working for my country. It kind of sparked a little bit. I plugged it in and it kind of made a little bit of sparking and buzzing, and I kind of got electrocuted the other day, but I'm okay. So we'll just leave it and pretend it's fine. We'll just keep checking it to see if anything happens. This is going to take the longest bit, I think, because we've got to wait for this, because I completely drained it to 0%. Well, that makes sense. I completely drained it to 0%. I've completely drained the battery. It is dead. It was dead as dead can be. So just leave it and see what happens. I can wait. Also, while we're waiting for things to power up and stuff, I bought a Nokia 9 PureView. I've got the box and everything for it. I bought it because of the stupid camera layout on the back. It looks like a spider on the back. It's 6 cameras on the back. One's a depth sensor. The other 5 are monochrome and RGB sensors. But there you go. Just thought I'd share that little tidbit of information with you. It's actually a really light phone. Feels like an S10 holding it. Nice and compact, nice and small. That's what she said. That's okay. We'll just leave that to the side. I'm just trying to think of things to do while this charges up. The thing is also, I don't want to touch the charger, because if I touch the charger, then it might lose its whole, I don't know, contact. The travel adapter is really janky. It's okay, it's fine, I'll just leave it. There we go. Now we're starting. So 6 minutes it took to get from that to here. Okay. Or maybe I... Oh, okay. There we go, it's starting now. We've got to get the test going. Okay, well, we're 7 minutes in for it to get from 0 to 1%, but now we leave it. Now we just wait and see what happens. I'll just clean the screens while I'm at it. No fancy tricks here, I just want to clean the screens so they look a little bit more presentable. Hopefully I don't stop the stopwatch. Don't want to lose my time. There we go. Perfect. I'll start speeding up the footage, and if you see me doing that, pressing buttons, it's because I'm checking. Oh, 3% already. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I'm just pressing buttons just to check. So, yep. From now on, we speed up. There we go. 37 minutes, 24 seconds, but it took, what, 7.5 minutes or something like that to get from 0 to 1%. So overall, what is advertised is pretty much correct, but I think they might be referring to from being 1% to 100% taking 28 minutes or so. That's probably correct, but because my unit was completely dead, that makes a little bit more sense. But still, 37 minutes to get from 0 to 100% is actually really good. The phone's a bit warm from fast charging, obviously. That's to be expected. The adapter, on the other hand, is pretty warm from that. See, that's my setup that I had to use just there. I mean, it worked. It's reasonable. It will do. Yeah, this is pretty warm, as to be expected. I mean, 65 watts. You know what? It done the job. That's a pretty good result. But now, I want to talk about battery life on this. So for 121 hours, I left it on standby. It dropped from 100% down to 33%. That's not a bad result. However, since I've done most of my testing with the out-of-the-box software, I noticed that using the camera, for example, it drained the battery really quickly. But just normal browsing and just normal usage, the battery held up quite fine, so there's no problems with that. Since I've now updated the OS and it's running a later version, some stuff has probably been improved, so battery optimization has probably been changed just ever so slightly, but that gives you a rough idea that from 100% to 33% over 121 hours, you shouldn't have any problems with battery life. But as I've mentioned, if you're going to be using this for heavy usage, obviously the battery's going to drain a lot faster than just, you know, browsing social media platforms or something like that every now and again. It's going to be completely fine for that. I also did test wireless charging, and that was no problems whatsoever. I was actually originally going to get the Xiaomi 55 watt wireless charger and then test it with this, just to show the demonstration of how quick the wireless charging is on this. But I assume from what OnePlus has already advertised for the wireless charging, I assume that it's going to be all good and quite fast. Now, of course, you can put the battery saver on, which will probably help a lot with battery life, but I just had it all as default during testing, and that was pretty much the results that I got. The warp speed charging does work pretty much as advertised, so that is all good. OnePlus also offers a cloud service on the phone, which is quite handy to have. Accounts, you can add a OnePlus account or a Gmail or whatever. I've already added my Gmail, so then I was able to download all the stuff from the Play Store. In digital Wellbeing parental controls, all the usual tools and parental controls are here. Don't think I need to go over these. Google services and preferences are all the usual stuff. Don't need to go through here. Utilities, work-life balance is new. That wasn't there before, and now it is there. Oh, it's the notifications can be a distracting thing. Okay, that makes sense. Quick launch, so you can activate another shortcut. So turn on quick launch. So if you do this and now hold up, oh, there it is. Okay. I tell you, there's a lot of shortcuts on this. Maybe I'm just missing things on my normal phone, but all these shortcuts I would be using on a normal day-to-day basis, but on my S20 I don't use any shortcuts like that at all. And then obviously you can add shortcuts to that if you want to. But man, that is a lot of shortcuts that you can do with this, so that's quite good. Parallel apps, app locker, so you can select apps for encryption, schedule power on and off, pocket mode is on, OnePlus switch, so you can switch from your old phone to the new phone, the OnePlus lab is there, and quick reply and landscape, which I think we're done on the N10, I think. Yeah, I believe this did come up on the N10, yeah. Within system, we have accessibility just there, which has talkback, switch access, all the usual stuff for accessibility. You can remove animations just here without going into dev options if you want to, but all the accessibility options are here for anyone who needs this. Languages and input, date and time, backup, reset options, OTG storage, experience improvement programs, multiple users, RAM boost. We'll leave RAM boost on. System updates, we should be completely up to date. We are. It is Oxygen OS 11.2.7.7. And finally, in About Phone, the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G with all the specifications listed just here, which I think I mentioned in the N10 video. I love having this here in settings. Just getting a phone and then going straight to settings and seeing this, you know what the phone specifications are. It's pretty good. It would be definitely good to see this on more devices, that's for sure. Android version is 11, and we can do the dial up to 11. There you go. I think this is the first Android 11 phone that I'm testing on this channel, isn't it? I believe so, but the security update is the 1st of the 5th, 2021. The model is the LE2120. We got the legal information. In status, it shows the serial number, IMEIs, all that sort of thing. And we have the awards for all of the people who have worked on OnePlus devices. So if your name's here, you made it onto a phone. Awesome. And last thing in settings is tips and support. So you can come into here, and if there's any questions you have with your device, come into here and ask and it will help you. I think this actually, yeah, it connects to OnePlus support, which OnePlus support for me has been a bit iffy in the past, but hopefully this connects with like forum members and stuff like that, so you might be able to get help a lot faster with your device if there's any problems. Also, one thing I completely forgot about was holding on the main screen to see the wallpapers. You've got the widgets just here. If you want to add any widgets, feel free. And then you've also got home settings, so you can customize the launcher layout, quick search gestures, and all that sort of thing. Pretty much stuff that's in settings, but just more of the quick options for home settings are listed just here. So now that I've pretty much covered the settings, battery life, all that sort of thing about this device, let's go into the actual main features. And I suppose the biggest main feature of this video is the camera. Because this camera is so hyped up with the whole Hasselblad technology and everything like that, obviously I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to this camera test. I will go through the camera settings first and let you all know about this. So as I've already said, the out-of-the-box software was pretty meh. And I did take some photos in the city at nighttime with this, and I'll show you those photos first, and then I'll swap to the updated camera photos so you can see a difference. But the nighttime shots that I took with this in the city and the video, it was okay. It wasn't the best, it was okay. But then when I got the updates, it improved a lot of things and added a lot more features that I didn't see when I was previously testing. So there is a lot of things going on within the camera app. Super macro shouldn't be on. There you go, it's off. But yeah, you've got telephoto, which defaults to 3.3 times, 1 times, ultra wide, all that sort of thing. You've got video modes, which you can do everything there. So you can do 8K, 4K, 1080p at various frame rates just there. Now there are settings in this camera app that you can only have on with 1080p 30fps and 4K 30fps, and I do speak about this during the camera test. But having HDR on, you can only have that to 1080p 30fps and 4K 30fps. Having that off, you can also do a super steady option, but that also limits you down to 4K and 1080p at 30fps. But otherwise, slow motion I've tested. Panorama I didn't test. I never test panorama or time lapse for that matter. Now with photos, as I've said, I've taken a lot of photos with this. I left it in 4:3 aspect ratio. I was going to put it in full, but I just thought I'll just leave it as default. You can also do the high res, which is the 48 megapixel mode. And I have taken most of the photos using the 48 megapixel mode. Why is that not turning on? Because super macro is on. There we go. I figured if we're going to be doing camera test, let's have it at its full resolution. So that's what I went ahead and done. We have the pro mode here, which you can change all the things if you're a photographer and know about all this sort of thing. You can come into here and change the ISO, white balance, shutter speed, all that sort of thing. That is all good. But I did read somewhere that a video mode using the pro features isn't available, and that seems to be correct. You can't do any of this pro stuff in videos, but I don't think that really would matter. You have a lot of options for the resolutions and all that sort of thing, so honestly that doesn't bother me. But for people out there who are serious photographers and stuff and want to take some really good videos with this, unfortunately you're going to be limited to what you can do within video. And of course the front camera does everything that you need it to, 1080p 30fps and 60fps. You can also do a portrait mode with the front camera. You can't do slow motion or anything like that with this. Nightscape is also only available on the back camera. But yeah, portrait mode and photo are available for the front camera as well as video obviously. And also within settings just here, everything is on, like auto macro, mirrored selfie, all that sort of thing. High efficiency video I didn't have on. I should have put that on, but I've already done the camera test, so it is what it is. I left the watermark off. Shutter sound off, location data off as well, but that's pretty much it within settings. I will warn you all now, the camera test does go for quite a long time, but I wanted to do a real world camera test where it was out of the box software, just testing it, and then after a couple of updates to see how it goes. I did read that there was a few issues with the out of the box software, with the color correction not being quite the best and stuff, so hopefully within this very long camera montage that you're about to see right now, you get a good idea of what the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G can do, and then after this very long showcase, we'll talk more about the quality of the photos when we get to there. But otherwise, sit back and enjoy what you're about to see. Okay, this is 4K at 120 FPS. Looks very, very dark, but let's see if I can change that. No, I cannot. But there you go, that's 4K 120 FPS. Although you can't really see it in my video, it's going to be limited to 30 FPS, but I can tell you that it does work, and it is stabilized, which is good. This seagull has become my friend. Where are you going, buddy? Don't get run over. Where are you going? You're in my lights. You're not coming home with me. I know you're sad. Aww. Alright, testing the night shot of the OnePlus 9 Pro out here in the city, and it's a little bit shaky. It's got EIS for sure, but it's a little shaky, like that for example. I mean, it's okay. It's good. I can autofocus. I can zoom. No, I cannot zoom. There you go. That is in 30 FPS as well. Okay, 60 FPS with the OnePlus 9 Pro. At nighttime, does it capture everything? I don't think the front camera has the Hasselblad technology, but it looks okay. 60 FPS anyways. Okay, so now we're on to the video test for the OnePlus 9 Pro. This is at 1080p 30 FPS with super steady mode off, and straight away it's already super steady as it is, so I don't know how it can get any better than this. Just quickly looking at all the flowers, all in nice detail just there, looking very, very good. Going for a bit of a zoom. There we go. It's pretty stabilized as it is, to be honest. Panning along the brick wall just there. All good. Going down to Stuart. Look at that. He's looking pretty good. Just having a look at the sky. Looks really, really odd today. Well, there you go. Anyways, far away aircon. There you go. We can actually read what it says on it. Look at this. There you go. Breeze Air and a Panasonic. Bet you didn't know that was a Panasonic sitting right there. But there you go. There it is. Sorry, my mistake. It's not super steady. It's super stable. But this is 4K with super stable mode on. And just sort of moving it around. Yeah, that's pretty good. Have a look at everything. Nice 4K detail just there. This will double as the 4K 30 FPS test as well, I suppose. But I think you all get the idea that it's looking pretty good. Stick. See, that's much more stabilized, actually. That's really, really, really good. Brick wall pan just there. Yeah, that's really nice. Straight down to Stuart. That was a very, very nice pan. Like, that's really, really good. Oh, I can't zoom in super stable mode. Well, there you go. That's that then. So this is back in 4K 30 FPS mode. You can toggle ultra wide on and off, like so, and you can zoom in. But if you change to anything above 4K 30 FPS, then all of this gets disabled. Also in 1080p 60 FPS mode, a lot of these options do get disabled as well. But it looks pretty good. There we go. Even though you've seen this during the photos, this is ultra wide, standard, zoom. Just so you get an idea. This mode is called video portrait mode, and as you can see, it is doing a depth effect while we're filming on Stuart just here, which is actually pretty nice. However, it is only 1080p 30 FPS. You can't do anything above that with this mode on. Okay, so this is smooth Ultra HD mode. I'll just do this very, very quickly. But I'm not too sure if anyone has noticed or not, but I do have other gnomes over there. I do have a Santa, I do have a bootleg Mickey Mouse, and I do have another Stuart, just in case that Stuart breaks. So we have Stuart number 2 just here, if need be. Maybe I should feature bootleg Mickey Mouse on the channel from now on. That's looking something like that. Yeah. Now regarding the super steady options and the dynamic HDR options, they can only be enabled on 30 FPS settings. So 4K and 1080p at 30 FPS, they can be both enabled, but when you switch it up to higher resolutions, then unfortunately they get disabled. But this is HDR mode, 1080p 30 FPS. That's what it looks like. It honestly doesn't look any different from just the normal camera view, but anyways, you can do ultra wide and zooming in. There you go. Woof. See Froggo's eyeballs there. Okay. It's only limited to 5 minutes long, but I think you get a good idea. It's very, very stable, very nice and smooth. Super steady mode or whatever it is isn't on, but it's fairly nice. Oh, a little bit of lag there. But remember, 120 FPS, that is pretty good. Okay, so testing the front camera of the OnePlus 9 Pro. I'm filming at 1080p 60 FPS. I decided not to do it in 30 FPS. I thought 60 FPS is much more than enough for the front camera. It doesn't do 4K 30 FPS for the front camera, just 1080p, but it looks pretty good, looks fairly solid. I did read a couple of reviews that say that the front camera is a little bit lacking, but honestly, it's fine. It's pretty good. I mean, if it done 4K 30 FPS, yeah, okay, it'd be better, but that's fine. It's good. I like it. No problems. Also, there's a little green dot at the top to tell me where to look when I'm recording. It's pretty helpful. Okay, so now you've just seen the photos and videos that were taken with the OnePlus 9 Pro. The night shots here were done on the 5th of May 2021, which was the out-of-the-box software, and then the rest was done on the 12th of June 2021, which was the updated software. Now, you didn't see 8K during the video tests. Why didn't you see 8K during the video tests? It's because I can't import 8K video into Sony Vegas. It just crashes. And then if I try and play 8K video on my computer, it just crashes. It says my computer's running low on memory. So unfortunately, while this is not going to be the best, I'm going to show you the 8K video being played on this device, and I'll display the resolution and bitrate up the top left hand corner. So I'll go ahead and play the first one. And there you go. So that was out of the box, and this is the updated version. Alright, here we go. We're in overkill mode now. 8K at 30 FPS on a 1080p 30 FPS video on YouTube. That makes complete sense. This is going to be pretty good. I mean, in the city when I was doing the nighttime shots, it looks pretty good. The thing, it's just weird thinking that a phone can do 8K. I know a lot of phones can do 8K at the moment, but oh man, it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Look at that. Looks really, really, really nice from where I'm sort of looking at it. Here we go, the pan of the brick wall in 8K. That's super exciting. I really should have filmed something better than a brick wall in 8K. But anyways, that's okay. There's Stuart there. It's detecting his face. Well, that's good. Well done, OnePlus. Dangling lemons in 8K, because why not? And of course, we can't forget to have a look at the sky. Look at it, man. A little bit laggy, because, you know, 8K, it's kind of like overkill, pretty much. And you cannot zoom in 8K mode. It's just kind of fixed. But that looks pretty good, though. There's the OIS working there. I'm actually tilting the phone back and forth now, and it's not moving at all. So I would say video modes on this are absolutely exceptional. Really, really good video quality on OnePlus's part here. I think they've done a really good job with updating the camera and really making some improvements here. So I'm very, very happy to see that it's all working, all nice and detailed, and I just love it. It is nice. And just as a bit of a bonus, I decided to film Ripley in 8K while I was outside, and she was stuck inside crying for me. So here you go. Oh, poor Ripley. Oh, this is at 8K 30 FPS too. Whoops. Aw. It's okay. I know. I know. Yes. I'm filming. I know. Look how fat you are. Look how fat you are. People will be able to see on YouTube how fat you are now. I know. Oh, poor Ripley. Poor Ripley. It's alright. I'll be back in soon. I will. I promise. Oh, don't fall. So, I can tell you now that the 8K video quality is absolutely exceptional. It looks really, really, really good. But we need to talk about the camera quality from the out-of-the-box camera software to the updated camera software. Even though you've seen the photos and videos taken with this and you get a rough idea of what's going on, I'll just briefly talk about some of the things that I've noticed while using the camera. Alright, so as I said briefly before the showcase, you can have some features like the dynamic video which has HDR on and off only in 1080p 30 FPS and 4K 30 FPS. But out of the box software in 8K, you could zoom in. Updated camera software, you can't zoom in. You can go to ultra wide in 8K and then back down, but you can't zoom, so they've taken that away in an update. Not sure why, because in the first one, when I was in the city, I was able to zoom in 8K. No idea why it's gone. All the other optional modes are off, so I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm doing something wrong here, but even like 4K 120 FPS, I think, you can't do it either. 60 FPS you can, it toggles it back there. So I'm not too sure what the whole go with that is. As I said, I could be doing something wrong, but otherwise, when it comes to the video quality, I really have to say that I'm very, very happy with how the results turned out. The slow motion stuff that we've seen, very run-of-the-mill, nothing too extravagant there. 4K 120 FPS looks exceptional, and there is some good color correction going on there. I can definitely see that, but then again, I am used to reviewing budget devices, so when I see something like this, a flagship taking really, really good photos, instantly I think it's the best device on the planet. And people that review flagships are probably in that sort of field to say, well, no, this isn't really taking the best shots, this phone does better shots, etc, etc. But from my point of view, for this, videos do look extremely good, colors look extremely good with the updated software. Photo-wise though, I just want to show you the night shots. So this was standard nighttime shots. This was completely in the dark. No lights, no nothing. Just me standing outside, taking a picture of the lemon tree in the dark. That's what it looks like. Then I put night mode on, and that's what it looks like. That there is pretty epic. That looks really good. Considering it was pitch black, that was nightscape mode. So I can tell you now, that worked really well. And then that was with flash on, which kind of made things look a little dull and shiny in some areas. But otherwise, night mode works extremely well on this. Really, really happy with the results. So the out-of-the-box software at nighttime looked a little something like this. It's not the best, and there are a couple of bits that just lose a lot of color. Stuff that was really vibrant, you know, in real life, just turned out to be sort of really dull. Yes, I was at Crown right there, you can see. That's where I was standing, so if you know where I'm standing, hello. And then I took another picture, and it just wasn't really the best. Like, I've seen better shots. Like, I took some shots with my S20 FE. They were much better at producing night shots at the time with the old software. It's not bad, but for example, let's go to that. It just, I don't know, the colors just don't really, I mean, that's an iPhone ad right there, so, you know, kind of makes sense. Things do get a little washed out quality-wise and all that sort of thing. This was an ultra-wide shot. I was trying to stay as steady as I can, but it decided to just blur everything like that. If you do get this phone and try to use the out-of-the-box software for the camera, you're gonna have a pretty bad time. Update it and you'll have a much better experience. The videos weren't too bad in this mode either. They were pretty good. I have to say this, it's night and day when it comes to the upgraded camera software. Also, that was the zoom as well at nighttime. It just, yeah, and then I tried to go even further and just, nah. We don't have a periscope lens on this, so, you know, you can't expect much, but it is what it is. That's just another sort of instance of the zoom. There's a car right down there, and I decided to take a photo of that car like so. That should be a Corolla or a Camry. I think it's a Camry. Not too sure. The selfie wasn't actually too bad with the out-of-the-box software. It does make me look a little bit dead, but then again, every phone that I test makes me look pretty much dead in every photo, so that's kind of to be expected. Look, selfie performance, out-of-the-box software, that's okay. It was alright. Also, did you like my seagull friend that I found? He was just chilling. He wanted to come home with me, but I told him no. Also, if anyone watches Random Gaming in HD, maybe that's his seagull. It flew over here. Steve, do you want him back? Because, he's here now. That was a while ago now, so, if he's flown back to you, say hi to him. But now, we come to the actual main photos themselves, and my lord, that just looks absolutely excellent. The colors just are so vibrant and it's nice and sharp and everything. And as I said, I took it with the 48 megapixel mode on, so everything just is epically ultra high detail quality, amazingly just, yeah. Portrait mode is excellent as well. That was no problems whatsoever. Obviously I didn't do portrait in the city, but using portrait while here was just, yeah, it worked great. Macro mode works, even though we don't have a dedicated macro camera, which is kind of useless. The main camera can focus in really, really close and get some good shots. But even without using the depth effect, you can still produce some pretty nice photos just on its own. That's the depth effect there kicking in. So that's no depth effect with a blurred background, and then the depth effect with a blurred background. And it does bring the flowers out to the front and blurs the background, but I don't know, just natural looks a lot, I don't know, cleaner, I guess. Macro-wise, yeah, like you can get pretty close to an object and take some photos and stuff. The brick wall looks accurate. That's what the brick wall looks like in real life. It's dull, plain, and boring. That's how the colors are, and that's pretty much true to life. Stuart looks pretty good. He looks really, really happy. I'm not going to go through every photo, but I'm just giving you a rough idea here that the shots that I did take and the colors that I did get, excellent. Absolutely excellent. With the upgraded camera software, OnePlus has fixed some stuff and have definitely tuned it up. But, as I said, the whole zooming thing in videos, with that being gone, a little bit strange to me. And finally, we can see that the aircon is called a Breeze Air, and that there was a Panasonic one right next to it, just there. It's a Panasonic inverter. That's the best shot of the aircon you're ever going to see. And then obviously the selfie performance I felt has been greatly improved from when I first was taking selfies in the city, and even testing selfies not in the city and in daytime, you know, sort of taking a couple of photos, to now, much better. But as I said, the whole thing with me reviewing flagships is that I get one sent to me and I think it's the best thing in the world. But as I said, there's a group of people out there who are very in-depth with their cameras. They know all the flagships that are out and have reviewed every single flagship. They might tell you that this is not up to par, but from my perspective, I think camera-wise, it's good. It's really good. It's excellent. For the price you're paying, it is excellent. If I did pay the asking price for this, I would be more than happy with the shots that have turned out with this camera. No problems at all. It just sucks that I can't sort of work out 8K video. 8K is going to pretty much look the same as 4K, and that's going to look the same as 1080p since this video is filmed at 1080p 30fps. There's Ripley just there. I captured a good photo of her. She was crying because I was outside and was going, "Why are you outside for? Why? Why are you out there for? Why can't I be out there with you?" Sad. Anyways, I think I should stop rambling on about the camera now, but otherwise I think you all understand what I'm trying to get through here with the whole camera test. If you can understand my point of view and other reviewers' point of views, I'm not the best to be reviewing flagships. I should be sticking strictly to budget devices. It's just that I was offered this to review, and looking at it, I don't think I'm the person to review flagship devices, because I am comparing these with devices that are $200, $300, $400, not $1,000. I don't think I'm made to review flagship devices, unfortunately, but I'm trying my best here. So we'll continue on with testing this to the best as I can, and this video is going to go way too long, so it is what it is. I'm trying my best here. But anyways, let's continue. So each application that's installed on here, honestly, I don't think I need to go through every single one of these and show you, what the calculator looks like, what the calendar looks like, etc, etc. Now, obviously, what would be first would be the gaming test, because Ark Survival Evolved is first, but I want to do browser test, YouTube test, speaker test, then do gaming, then benchmarks, have a look at the specs, and I won't be doing a teardown in this video. Unfortunately, I will talk about that more when we get to that. Well, Chrome is very snappy and very responsive. I tried to go onto the OnePlus 9 Pro site with the OnePlus 9 Pro, but it says this page is coming soon. That makes complete sense. Maybe I can... No, it just says OnePlus 5 there. I'm not too sure what's going on. But look, I have used the browser when testing the device for a couple of days, and I had absolutely no problem with this. If you do have the 8GB version, you might notice some small differences, but it won't be too much, honestly. And just browsing for a bit didn't really heat up the phone or anything like that. There was no problems with that. The 120Hz is working quite nicely with Chrome, and everything is all smooth and snappy and fast, and yeah, so browsing wise, you're going to have no problems. With a phone like this, with these specifications, you're obviously not going to have any problems with Chrome. Now, if I had 5G, I would have done a speed test, but unfortunately, because I don't have 5G at the moment, I tried every SIM card possible, I just can't get it, so I can't do a speed test. Sort of where I am on the outskirts, it's just sort of hit and miss depending on the device. As I said, my own main devices don't get 5G anyways, but that would have been something I would have loved to have shown. Unfortunately, it's not going to be in this video. Hopefully someone else has covered that if you're really interested in knowing about the 5G stuff, because I'm just not really up to date with 5G. I'm not really on sort of that level of 5G just yet. I'm still learning all about it and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm just not the best to ask about 5G at the moment, but I'm fairly sure that it should be fine on this device in Australia in certain locations. I don't think you'll have any dramas with it. Well, I think maybe now we'll jump into the speaker test. You have heard the speakers during the 8K video test, but I think we'll bump up BFG division. I've got the FLAC file, FLAC, whatever you want to call it, on here. We're going to play this and see how these dual speakers perform on this phone. I should probably all give you a warning that this is going to be extremely loud, but I think you already figured that out by now. So we'll set it to max. Here we go. .103.4, holy moly. So I can tell you that the loudspeakers in this, they are very good. They are excellent. We will try the top speaker. I'll try and block off the bottom speaker and we'll see what that comes to. The main power of the speakers is coming from the bottom one, but holding it up and listening to it in stereo, honestly, I can't really tell the imbalance between the volume. It sounds pretty good, and when it's pumped up to full ball, maybe I can hear a bit of imbalance, just a little bit though. The bottom speaker is very, very powerful. The top one, while not as powerful, will deliver a perfectly fine stereo experience for whatever you want to listen to or whatever game you're going to be playing on this. You'll have no problems with it whatsoever. I will say that the AGM M7 phone that I reviewed with that really big, huge speaker in it, that probably takes the cake as the loudest and probably best speaker on the channel. Time for the YouTube test. Costa Rica is sitting right there. So I guess we're going to be playing the Costa Rica in 4K 60 FPS HDR Ultra HD video. Now, in quality, we'll change this to the absolute max we can go to, which is 4K 60 FPS. So this is what Costa Rica in 4K 60 FPS looks like on our 1440p 120Hz display. Oh, that's nice. That's very, very nice. Zoom in. There we go. That looks really, really, really nice, man. Snick. I think you get the idea that 4K 60 FPS on YouTube is going to be fine on this. I think anything you throw at this is going to be absolutely fine on this. And the music that's in this video is very, very nice due to the stereo speakers and stuff. Yeah, that looks really good, and color-wise, yeah, that's looking really good. And quality-wise, obviously 4K 60 FPS, that's no problems whatsoever. If you remember, a while ago we were talking about live captions on videos. I'm going to open up one of my videos, and we're just going to play a small snippet from my latest one that I've uploaded. I'm going to see if it comes up with any captions, or if it doesn't. I'm going to recheck to see if live captions are on or not. So just give me a sec. The answer is no, it doesn't. But if I obviously enable the captions within YouTube, it's probably just going to...
very random, rambly, chill video. I guess that's what...
So I'm not too sure. It says it does work in some applications, so maybe YouTube isn't one of the apps that works on, or I'm missing something here. Someone will tell me in the comments, I'm fairly sure of it. You could probably play 8K video on this. I should probably find an 8K video, a really good 8K video to try on these devices. But as I said, I'm not really going to be doing flagships from here on out. I think I'll stick to the budget devices so I can give fair comparisons to a lot of people, because obviously a lot of people don't have $1,300 to just throw around on a phone. They only want to spend $200 or $300, and that's kind of the reason for this channel, is I review budget stuff. So yes, if you have this OnePlus 9 Pro, don't worry about YouTube. It will be completely fine. You can watch anything you want on there at any quality, and it will be absolutely fine. I mean, you can watch 240p video on a 1440p display. I'm not stopping you. So now I guess it makes sense that we go straight to the gaming test. Let's start pushing this phone to its absolute limits. As I said, I've got Ark Survival Evolved Genshin Impact and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas installed. I don't think I need to go through any more applications that are installed on this phone, because most of them are stock Android ones. There's the OnePlus Store, OnePlus Switch, which we pretty much went over within settings anyways. So we'll skip along and start with the gaming test. However, we'll go to games. Hi gamer, are you ready to play some games? I certainly am. Boost your gaming experience immediately. I will. Convenient tools to amplify your gaming. Cool. View gaming data and statistics. And there we go. We can now play the games that are installed on here. Instant Games is installed, but okay. Well, we'll use the gaming mode, so then it pushes it to its limits and optimizes everything. So we'll play San Andreas and see how we go. See if this Snapdragon 888 processor starts to heat up, because a lot of people have said online that it does heat up a lot. Yeah, and pretty much what the truth is doing is just sort of questioning, is it going to heat up or not? We'll see. Alright, with everything on completely maximum, let's go ahead and try San Andreas.
It's time to go home.
I'm used to saying Banshee at this point. Alright. Well, yep. That's completely fine. As to be expected, that's completely fine. Is this... Oh, what car is this? Jester? No, not a Jester. Buttons. There we go. Oh, we have haptic feedback as well. That's good. The radio's off as well, because, you know, obviously copyright. No, that looks really good, and that's basically running how San Andreas should be running. Obviously, there's going to be some, you know, lag dips here and there because of the nature of this game anyways. But... nope. It's fine, man. It's good. Basically with San Andreas, if you have a phone that has 2 GB RAM and probably a quad-core processor, you can play this no problems and it'll run quite fine. But this is absolutely maximum and it looks pretty damn good. Looks better than what it looked like on PS2. But yeah, let's move on to Ark Survival Evolved. Now I will just make sure within the gaming settings that everything is all good. So the performance enhancements, I've got that off. So let's turn them on. Pro gamer mode. We'll just leave it as default. But I've put the graphics optimization on. So we'll try Ark and see how it runs. Alright, here we go. Epic and resolution on high. Apply that. Play. Single player. Survivor. That'll do. That's fine. Just create a character for me. That's completely good. That'll do. And let's go. Man, the speakers are beefy in this. That's pretty much as close as you're going to get to 60 FPS, I think. It's a tiny little bit laggy. Just a tiny little bit, but it's not that bad at all. So I'll just walk, and I think I can run. There we go. Swipe up to jump. There we go. Let's go find a dinosaur. There we go. Hello. He's just having a good old time. I'll just boop him. Boop. No. Oh, I think he's angry. No, he's fine. No, Ark Survival Evolved this is the best experience that I've had with this game. He's flying off. Bye. This is the best experience I've had with this game. Obviously, the Snapdragon 888, 12 gigs of RAM. We're not going to have any problems with this. I think the nature of this game is that it's not going to play at like a super steady 60 FPS frame rate, but for the most part, it's pretty smooth, and I don't think you'll have any problems with this. But we have one more game left, and that's Genshin Impact, which I have never played. I didn't look on the Play Store to see the description of it or anything like that. I just downloaded it because people have told me to download it. So, let's go ahead and play that, and I have no idea what I'm going to expect. I mean, judging by the icon, I kind of think I know what I'm going to expect. But anyways, let's go. Is it a fighting game? Is it a brawler? I don't know. I can tell you now the phone is starting to get quite warm. I can feel it getting pretty warm around the top area. Granted, it is pretty cold in Australia at the moment, so that's working in favour for this. But once we actually get into this game and have it running for a few minutes, we'll come back and see how the temperatures are. It wants me to log in. Guess I'll just log in with my Gmail, I suppose? Okay, well I need to download 8 gig of data. No problems. This is a hint as well. Okay, no problems, I'll do that. Okay, so I can tell you now that with just downloading the 8.6 gigs of additional data, the phone is getting pretty warm. We'll be basically running the benchmark after this, which will be pushing the phone to its limits, and then opening DeviceInfoHW to see what the temperatures are going to be at. Just leaving it to just download, it's pretty warm. I mean, I do play some games on my S20 FE, which has a Snapdragon 865 in it. And that doesn't get warm at all. It gets a little tiny bit warm, but not to the point of, you know, being, oh, that's pretty warm sort of thing. So, anyways, we're verifying file integrity, so I guess we'll just leave it. There we go, the bridge is finally built. Yay, let's go. I'm watching anime currently, I think. Can we skip this?
Your journey ends here.
No. Well, it looks pretty good, so that's a start. I'm not good with the whole anime thing, but it looks nice. Phone's starting to get pretty warm right there. Well, I mean, it's already warm as it is, but like it's, yeah, that one. Oop. Oh. You're gonna be used to play Tetris now. Kamehameha. I guess. Okay. There you go. That, my friends, is Genshin Impact running on this phone. Yeah, it's super smooth. That's fine. Yep. So it's an RPG, I suppose? Open world RPG, sort of, you know, Breath of the Wild thing. I don't know anything about this game, honestly. I'm just running. But I can tell you that it's running super, super smooth, if that's what people wanted to know. And yeah, the temperature of this phone, yeah, it's reaching its peak. It's getting there. The RPGs aren't really my thing, but if you feel like playing, I mean, I'm just assuming it's an RPG. If RPGs are your thing and you want to play it in super good detail, then it will be fine on the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G. You will have no problems with it, but you want to download that 8.6 gigs of data, maybe over the 5G network, or just use Wi-Fi. Let's see if we can, oh, here we go, we can see the city. Let's go to here. There we go. Wow. Well, it looks pretty nice. There you go. Well, I can safely say that Genshin Impact is no problems on this phone. I don't know what else to really demonstrate with this. It's all on the absolute highest settings, I assume. Should I just fall to my death? Okay, never mind then. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not a game for me, but this is pretty much the ultimate game for phones, as far as I can tell, and from what people have told me in the comments, that this is the game that will absolutely make your phone shatter to pieces. Well, it's not doing that for this. It's running quite fine, so look, it's even got motion blur going on. So, yep, Genshin Impact, all good, very, very good. See? Jumping for joy. Yay! Now obviously, what we're going to see from Geekbench is just numbers, but it's going to be the highest we've ever seen on a phone that I've tested on this channel. The one closest to this would be the OnePlus Nord N10, but it's almost half the price of this. So I'm just going to run this. We're going to let it heat up a little bit, see what the scores are. I'll show you what the OnePlus Nord N10 got, just as a bit of a comparison. And then we'll have a look at the specs, and then I'll talk to you about the teardown. Why do I have a kind of feeling that it's cooled down since running Geekbench? It's a bit strange. It's still a bit warm, but it's not as bad as it was during Genshin Impact. That's the scores there. Our single core score is 1078 and our multi-core score is 3433. I will display the OnePlus Nord N10 Geekbench score here. I don't remember what it is, honestly, but it's probably going to be half of that, I think. Something like that. Maybe. Just as a bit of a side comparison, I'm going to run Geekbench on my S20 FE 5G and see what that comes up with. But at the moment, that's the most we've seen on a smartphone on this channel. That's for sure. So we might get about 882 on my S20 FE. We'll see anyways. But I think what we'll do while we're waiting for that is open DeviceInfoHW and get a look at the stuff that's going on in here. So we can see the device name, the model name, the resolution, all that sort of stuff that's in here, the sensors, the NFC, the flash storage is UFS, we have 12 gigs of LP DDR5 RAM, all that good stuff. The system on chip is the Snapdragon 888, as you all know. It does show the refresh rate at 120Hz, which is all good. 12 gig of RAM and 256 gigs of storage on this model. The cameras, we've got the 48 megapixel back, 16 megapixel front, and that's all that's listed. I thought it would have showed all of them, but unfortunately it only shows that. The battery is the 4500 mAh one, 33 degrees it's running at. Okay, so thermals is running fairly good actually, 35 degrees. 36 degrees, 37. There's a lot of sensors. Holy moly. Temperatures are fine. So maybe they've fixed the Snapdragon 888 sort of overheating thing. I don't know. It's from what I've heard that the Snapdragon 888 overheats. I may have to look that up for myself properly and see what's going on there. But yeah, it does get warm, obviously. You know, it's intensive sort of applications that you're using on this thing, it's going to get a bit warm. But otherwise, it wasn't super hot where I couldn't touch it, like Wacom devices that I've reviewed in the past where they've got blistering hot where you just can't touch the back. But yeah, there you go. Accelerometer, light sensor, proximity. How do you pronounce this? Magnetometer? Anyways, gyroscope. We don't have a barometer though, but we have a total of 31 sensors. Holy moly. But I think you all get a good idea of what is going on with this device. I think you all understand pretty much everything that is going on about this right now. And just as I thought, that's my S20 FE score. So you can tell the difference there. My S20 FE is what currently, this is the 8GB, 256GB version. I believe these are selling currently for 1,300 Australian as well, I think, with a Snapdragon 865 in it. But you get expandable storage as well. So like between these two, I do like my S20 FE 5G because I'm used to Samsung and the battery life on this is absolutely amazing, but I can definitely see the performance, better display, the much better cameras that are on this as well. There's a lot that's, you know, obviously better than my current phone, but I just don't think I'm ready to say goodbye to my current phone just yet. Even though I've mained this for a couple of days and it was more than usable, it was great, it was absolutely fine, I think I still will stick to my S20 FE 5G, but I'll talk about that more during the conclusion. But now, at this point in time, I think I've went over absolutely everything that I've thought of. I've went through the specs, the listing, the pricing, testing. The main point of this was to show the camera's performance, talk about the cameras, the performance in games, everything like that. Sort of a real world test, a real review, talking about how I feel about the phone. I think I've covered everything that I need to. This video has gone on way too long. So in order to cut it short, I'm not going to be doing a teardown in this video. Unfortunately, I feel like doing a teardown of a very expensive device is just not my thing. So I highly recommend if you want to see a teardown or perhaps a reassembly of a OnePlus 9 Pro, you might want to click up here to go watch Jerry Rig Everything's video of when he reassembled the OnePlus 9 Pro. And if you're thinking, well, that's a reassembly, not a teardown, you can just watch it in reverse, and that's basically how he tears it down. That's just something I thought of just then, if you want to do that. But I highly recommend that. That pretty much gets straight to the point. He shows every little piece that's inside of this phone, and me doing this would only add more time to the channel, and I don't really want to take this apart. I really do enjoy having it in its factory state. I don't want to pull it apart and kind of void the warranty and stuff like that, because I am considering using this. So that's where I am with the whole teardown bit. Yeah, as I said, it's going to be carded up there the whole time. So even during the specs in the video, you can go straight there and watch his durability test first, and then the teardown, and then come back to this. It's completely up to you. But otherwise, I think we've got to go into a conclusion. And this is going to be quite a long-winded conclusion, but I think you already know that it's going to be positive, as I've already mentioned. But I'm going to try my best to point out anything that I've noticed during this. Most of it you've already heard and seen by now, so I'll try and keep it short and sweet. If I have missed anything, or if you want any clarification with anything, please let me know down in the comments, and I'm happy to provide any more information. But otherwise, let's move on to the conclusion. So let's put it like this. This is a flagship device that ranges from $1,000 Australian to $1,300 Australian, depending on your configuration. It is definitely a great phone with many great features, from the excellent display to the camera quality, the very solid build quality, extremely fast charging with the included 65-watt fast charger, plus all the other bonuses in the box as well, and almost stock Android. It's everything you would want from a flagship in 2021. Yes, the battery struggles a little bit, some camera issues are still present, missing expandable storage, and really the Hasselblad thing is just a bit of a marketing gimmick at the end of the day, but it's a respectable phone if you want something that's top tier and built extremely well. You can opt to go for the regular OnePlus 9, which includes many of the same features as the OnePlus 9 Pro, such as the Snapdragon 888, the 120Hz display, display, and both the 48 megapixel and 50 megapixel cameras, and is priced a lower $800 Australian for an 8GB 128GB version, which would be more than enough for most people nowadays. Currently, OnePlus's official store on AliExpress is offering discount codes towards the OnePlus range of phones, so that may be something to consider. Now, the thing that I want to address, which I've already covered within this video, is that I'm in no means a flagship reviewer. I cater towards a more budget-orientated audience, but with a flagship in front of me, I can see it overpowering the budget devices I've looked at, but at the same time, the OnePlus Nord N10 was a great phone, and it's at about a quarter of the price of the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G, and budget devices will fit for most people's day-to-day usages. That OnePlus Nord N10 could handle pretty much anything thrown at it, could take great photos, excellent battery life, and so on and so forth. And as I said, it's at $350 Australian currently, so you can go with that and use the extra cash for something else, or go with the more higher OnePlus 9 Pro 5G with all the bells and whistles for $1,000 Australian upwards. But the thing with budget devices, while being cheaper, they sometimes can offer more to the consumer, which is beneficial at the end of the day, like the OnePlus Nord N10 with a headphone jack and expandable storage, compared to the OnePlus 9 Pro, which doesn't have either of them. Really, it is up to the consumer. Budget devices will do the job for most people, but sometimes people just want the best, and that's absolutely fine. It all just depends on how much money is in your pocket and how much of it you're willing to let go. Also to note is the warranty, which I said at the beginning of the video. It's only 1 year, and that's to return to OnePlus or get it repaired locally, and they pay for it, which I've experienced OnePlus warranty in the past, and it can be a little bit complicated. However, the phone is pretty solid, as we've all seen, so I don't think it will be a problem, but it's always good to know your warranty status on devices that you purchase from China, etc, etc. This is why, with a budget device, if in a year's time something does happen to it, simply put, you can just buy another one and go from there. But with a $1,000 device in a year's time, if something goes wrong with it, it's out of warranty, there's not a lot you can do, so have a think about that as well. Now, I did want to quickly talk about my decision to go with an S20 FE 5G. I've always liked having pretty reasonably spec'd smartphones over the last few years, and as much as I like using reasonably built budget devices, I've always liked Samsung devices. However, due to the whole Exynos thing, I wanted one with a Snapdragon processor, and I settled on the S20 FE 5G with the highest configuration, which is 8GB RAM plus 256GB storage. And I found one on Facebook Marketplace priced reasonably, and so far it has been a great phone, and I've got no reason to upgrade. The OnePlus 9 Pro definitely has everything I need and want, but with me having a phone that I barely use 30% of its potential for, there's no point in swapping over. Plus, I'm sort of used to Samsung's One UI now, and for me it's easy to use. That's just my opinion, you don't have to agree with it, but it is what it is. Realistically, I could get away with using a budget device for my needs, but I always go, what if I need to do this, what if I need to do that, etc, etc. I want a phone with decent specs, just in case, but as I said, it's really up to the consumer and what their needs are at the end of the day. The OnePlus 9 Pro 5G is a great phone, and for the price it does everything you need plus more. And while this was a very, very difficult review to do, and I had a lot of complications with filming, I'm still sick while filming at the moment, I can safely say at the end of the day, it was a great phone to use, and if you can get it cheaper from somewhere else, then go for it. Or if the price is a little bit too steep for you, you can opt for the cheaper OnePlus 9 5G if the Pro variant is a bit overkill. And as I said, there's some coupons and discount codes on the OnePlus official store on AliExpress at the moment, so feel free to have a browse and see what deals they're offering. Well, I hope that conclusion is more than enough. I'm very sorry it went on a bit longer than anticipated, but then again, this whole video just went longer than I thought, but here we are, we have arrived at the end. Now, I am confident that I have covered everything I needed to cover within this video, but if I did miss anything, feel free to let me know. I know about the 5G I didn't quite cover, and the wireless charging I didn't cover, but if you think of anything else, please let me know. Once again, if you are interested in having a look at this item and thinking about purchasing it, there is a link in the description below, and it's not an affiliate link, just a standard one, so I won't earn anything from it from any purchases or clicks or anything like that. It's just there for your convenience. Well, I really have to give a massive thank you to OnePlus for sending this out to me for review. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for your trust and confidence within me for this review. I know it did take longer than we had hoped for, but being sick isn't fun and it does take a lot out of you. But once again, massive respect for OnePlus for giving me this huge opportunity. It's a big step for me as a small YouTuber, that is for sure. And that is it, everyone. That is it. We have come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for coming along this very long journey with me of looking at the OnePlus 9 Pro 5G, and I really hope that I've covered everything and I've made this review as in-depth as possible. As I said, I know the teardown is missing, I understand that, but Jerry Rig Everything's done something that's far more better, and I just didn't want to include it in this because this video has gone on way too long as it is already. Thank you all so much for the love. Thank you all so much for the support and everything. I really appreciate it so much, and this is one of the biggest projects I've worked on. It's taken a lot of time, it's taken a lot of effort, but it's finally done. It's finally here, and I hope people can enjoy it for what it is. Even if you're not interested in this phone whatsoever, you can just at least have it in the background or, you know, something like that. I really just hope people do enjoy this for what it is and appreciate the time and effort that has gone into the making of this video. So once again, thank you so much to everyone. Once again, I really, really do appreciate it. And as always, I want you all to take care. Please stay safe. Please be good people. And I'll see you all in the next video, which once I finish being sick, I plan to just make a heap of videos. I've got so much stuff to the side of me that I need to review. It's just, I need to get a little bit better before I sit down and start making videos with all of them. But trust me, more content is coming. Just give me a couple more days to get my senses back and we'll be good to go. But more importantly, I've got to take care of my physical health as well as my mental health. So that comes first before everything. So once I'm feeling up to scratch, there'll be definitely more content on the way. But otherwise, everyone, thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next video.
If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.